We have the story from the Daily Mail.
Okay.
Former defense official says the U.S. has recovered technology that, quote, did not originate on this earth.
Cool.
Discuss.
I don't buy it. They're always going to tell us it's alien.
It's always a distraction.
You know what the real story is?
What?
Former defense official says he was told by someone in government they've discovered technology, off-Earth technology. So the Daily Mail is framing it in such a way that it makes it sound like he's definitively saying he was party to it. But what he's actually, if you read it, he's actually saying America may have in our possession, and that he believes it happened because, what's the exact quote? He says, Mellon says he expects new information will surface, blah, blah, blah. I've been told that we have recovered technology that did not originate on this earth by officials in the DOD and by former intelligence officials.
That means it originated in Antarctica. Which ain't on the earth, it's under it.
There's a Stargate in Antarctica. That was Atlantis.
I'm going to make one point.
I believe that.
My grandfather was a big shot air traffic controller in the Soviet Union, high up in the military. I'm not high up, whatever. He's air traffic controller, so there's certain levels of clearance. He told me that they would see things that could not, and these were like trained, people. It's not just some random jerk on the street. It's someone jerk in high office. He would say they would see things on their radar that they could not explain all the time. And this was very understood from both sides, and it wasn't technological. It was like, okay, this doesn't make sense.
Radar distortion, I think, is talking plasma or other stuff like it.
Right.
Lightweight drones also, metamaterials, things like aerogel, airloy, like hardcore machine material that's lighter than air. They will float in the air.
Yeah,
that stuff in the vaccine is, remember, what is it?
Graphene oxide.
Yeah, that stuff is
I
the
love
most
these two together.
amazing.
No,
This is right here, Roseanne.
No, that stuff is amazing. It's the strongest
Yes, but it's not in
thing
the vaccine.
in the world.
You're talking about graphene.
Oh, graphene.
Yeah.
No.
They found,
Okay,
there's
whatever it is, they say it's in the vaccine, but I don't know that.
Random people
but
on the
it
internet say a lot of
is the
things.
strongest thing in the universe.
You can get it from carbon dioxide.
No, it's
you
not.
can make it out of the air.
Let him go. Let him go.
I have some here. I'm
Yeah,
looking
you
for
make
it.
it out of air, and it can take any shape, right?
Graphene? It's
Yeah.
hexagonally like honeycomb lattice, one atom thick.
The world is breaking down.
You can turn it into like, you can make like tubes out of it.
Yeah, it can take any shape.
I mean, hypothetically, I don't know if any shape is the right phrase because
You're talking about
some
different things.
Nanomolecular level.
Okay.
Are you talking about like a liquid metal material?
That's what
This
I thought
is like Harley Quinn
originally.
talking to the
you
Joker.
see those videos where the graphene is being moved around magnetically,
That's what
like
I saw, yeah.
ferromagnetic
Okay,
graphene or
right.
something?
You're not getting this back in the
yeah,
ring.
you
I
can
want
make liquid robots.
to say something to Michael Malice.
Yes, sir.
So it was, I think it was 2006. I had just stopped working at OHare Airport in Chicago. I had friends who still worked there, and they confirmed this story to me. I had a friend who was, I think he was on his way to OHare. I'd worked for American Eagle Airlines, a regional airline. You can look up photos of this. The photo of the UFO exists. There was a gray saucer-shaped object that came down from the clouds and hovered above OHare, above the United Express terminal, which I believe was the C gates. I could be wrong, C or D, and stayed there for a few minutes and then shot straight up into the clouds and punched a hole in it. I don't know.
A hole in the clouds?
A hole in the clouds,
Okay.
leaving a hole with sunlight coming through. And apparently a pilot looked out and had some like rudimentary old cell phone with a picture. He took a picture of it somehow, and the photo exists. You can Google it. You can find the photo. People I knew who worked there said they saw it. People like these are regular guys,
right?
Mid 40s. They're not superstitious. They watch football and they played Xbox. They cared nothing for this, and they were like, "I don't know what that was, man."
And they've seen things, so they would know if it's something normal.
And here's the crazy thing. My friend who was on his way to work said on Mannheim Road, right next to the airport, people stopped their cars in the middle of the road, got out, and were staring at it.
Okay, yeah.
And then we're just like, so what was it? We don't know what it was. But it's a famous UFO story. You can read all about it. And I had left, so I didn't see any of it. But so all I can say is hearsay. I asked people who were there, and they said they saw it, and they couldn't explain it.
I was talking to Kash Patel, who I think, was he at the Defense Department with Trump?
Yes, I believe
and
so.
I was like, do we have craft that can go out into space and then go under the ocean? And he was like, can't tell you that one.
Yeah, of course
and I was like,
not.
Okay, he didn't say yes. So thank you.
He didn't say no.
He didn't say no.
Well,
and he
they're
looked
so
at me like,
far
I can't tell
ahead.
you.
They're 50 years ahead of what we know.
Yeah.
The stuff they can do.
At least when they raided
wanna-
Tesla's laboratory, that was like 100 years ago. The stuff that he was working on.
I got to point out, people have posted a lot of fake photos. There's weird CGI garbage, and I wonder if it's intentionally trying to shut the story down. So here, let me pull this up right here. This is Musings of an Explorer. I just Googled it. And you can see this image, which I believe does look like the image I remember. I'm not sure. And there's something. This is 2006. This is before iPhones. Cell phones barely had cameras. They had really garbage cameras. And I don't know how the photo was taken. It says taken at OHare, November 7th, 2006. I had just stopped working there, I think, in like August. And so my friends, people I knew, were all still there. I called them. I was like, "Yo, what is this? I heard this story. Crazy." And there's supposedly the image.
Can I say one thing, just one sentence? I want to give a big FU to Ashley St. Clair because she told me to watch Arrival, and the first 2/3 of the movie are awesome, and then the conclusion sucks. So I wasted 2 hours of my very short remaining life. So FU, Ashley.
It was Seagate.
What? Arrival, yeah.
It was Seagate, which I believe is United Express, which was right next to us. So I think we were D and like H. That was the American Eagle gates. So right across, we'd see United Express, but we never go there. That's their different company. And it was right above the Seagates. So the craziest thing, though, and you read these stories and they say 12 employees saw it. I'm like, dude, I had a friend who worked there said that people were getting out of their cars in the middle of Manheim Road, this big, state or local highway. And it's like got street lights. It's not like an expressway.
And let's talk a bit about misinformation. So
it was hanging around for a while.
For a couple minutes. It floated there.
Let's talk about misinformation.
5 minutes.
Because there's people who say, there was a book that was published, I think, in France at the time, claiming that 9/11 never happened and that the World Trade Center towers are holograms, right? So the point being, if you have any questions about these issues, right away there's enough misinformation out there
that's true.
Like, oh, so you're saying that they're holograms and it was shot down by lasers? So a lot of times there's enough of this nonsense that's flooded to make it seem that anyone's asking about something you just talked about, where sane, sober, daylight, working class, regular people are eyewitnesses. You could sweep it all under the rug by just accusing it of being the most extreme version.
Well, because people say no planes flew into the buildings.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So they say that was CGI.
Right.
This is what bothers me about most conspiracy theories is that people who engage in the most extreme thinking on an issue actually make it impossible to get to the bottom of an issue. And so I'll give you an example. When the emails got released by WikiLeaks, where this started the whole Pizzagate thing, someone said, is it more, what did they say? Is it better to try play dominoes on pizza or on pasta? One day, seemingly out of nowhere, someone fabricated this idea that these words were references to children. They were not. Now, there are certainly CP is a reference thing, cheese pizza was a reference thing, but they conflated this. And you know what I think it really was?
What?
Drugs.
Yes. I'll say one more thing, Tim. It was clearly not pizza. It was clearly code for something. And we don't know what that is.
And then what happens I want pizza for an hour.
Right,
Come on.
Heroin? Ecstasy?
No, but the point is not pizza. The point is it's not pizza.
Right, but so here's the issue. What's something that is entirely believable is that a bunch of White House people were doing hardcore Schedule I drugs like cocaine at a party, and they speak in code in emails.
Yes,
that could be.
We could easily investigate drug abuse and say, we want to get to the bottom of what they were talking about doing, but then all of a sudden, the internet blows up with the most insane conspiracies, and then immediately the media says, this proves it's fake, and regular people don't question it.
That's
but
true.
I'm going to say one thing.
I think they do that all the time.
But here's the thing. I don't think it's that insane, because very publicly, this administration killed a bunch of kids overseas, and no one even had a demotion for it.
Obama?
The surrender in Afghanistan?
Biden in Afghanistan. They're like, oh, we just killed a bunch of kids. Oh, too bad. No one got reprimanded. So you can't think it's too crazy that people in government are literally killing children all the time.
No.
Well, everything that I've said, that my children, I have 5 children, everything I've said for the last 20 years, they go, Godmother, you and your...
They call you mother?
When they're pissed. Godmother, you and your ridiculous conspiracy theories. Everything I said came true 3 years later. Okay? Every single thing.
Everything?
Yeah. When I said it was a pedo, Ponzi, priesthood, pyramid scheme. Yeah, it's all true. It's coming true every day.
Well, in 4 months, we'll see if the tribunals happen.
But
are you in on the bet, Tim?
No. I'm a fence sitter.
All right.
I want to talk about a little bit about anti-gravity because...
Cut the stream. It's a wrap. You end on the high note.
There's a lot of muddied water on anti-gravity that it's impossible, obviously. But
it's totally possible.
I think it is. And there's something called the Byfield-Brown effect, if you want to look into like something that might potentially be asymmetrical capacitor thrusters. And I'm wondering if... I try and do these experiments with Jeremy Riss at his laboratory in New Jersey. And we were trying to figure out if you can increase horizontal velocity fast enough, you'll reduce vertical velocity to 0. And then you'll be you won't be interacting with gravity necessarily. You'll be falling forward basically, and you can fall forward in any direction.
Airplanes overcome gravity.
No, they don't.
They
They
use
fly
wind.
in the air.
That's
for
not what
crying
gravity
out loud.
means. They're not overcoming gravity.
They
But
are
if you could
too, and
use-
so are trees.
if you could
trees
use an-
grow up against gravity.
Michael,
Oh
the
my-
UFO is overcoming gravity right now.
Yeah, bitch.
There's also something called ionic wind, which might be able to use to push metal, super lightweight metal
Tim,
around
how do
in an
we
atmosphere.
how do we fund a buddy comedy where they're both cops who have to work together? Like Rush Hour 4.
We should do it.
Hey,
100%.
bitch, do you understand the words that
Now,
are
we'll
coming
go to-
out of my mouth?
Now hold on, hold on. Let me say this.
Like laboratories and stuff.
Ian mentioned aerogel. Do you know what aerogel is?
No, I don't.
It's a solid that's lighter than air, I don't think it's completely lighter than air.
think it is.
It's not lighter,
So
but
it
it's
floats into the...
You can it's a solid, and you can tap it, and it will
And it's
almost
super
floats.
heat resistant. You can
Yeah.
hit it with blow torches, and
Wait,
it doesn't even.
this has been created or it's
Yes.
hypothetical? Okay.
Aerogel. Oh, they have aerographite now.
Learn a thing or
Is
two.
lighter than air.
So
It's 7 times lighter than air.
It is lighter than air.
A graphene aerogel.
It is that graphene. That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah. We're going to start pulling it out of the carbon dioxide, and then we're going to have to figure out how not to pull too much out because we're competing with
You know
the
what?
trees.
I think I hear wedding bells.
So let's have babies.
Are you ready to
To the
have...
top.
Hey,
Happy
Roseanne,
families.
you ready for number 6?
here, take a look. Maybe we can find him. There isn't.
I love
I'm not so
stuff
sure it's
like that.
lighter than air
It's
because
fact.
if it was
People
lighter,
can accept that it's fact.
It's lighter, it would hit it would hit
float.
space. Yeah.
it would float. It would float to the top
Of the atmosphere, yeah.
Right. So I don't know if they show, but anyway, it exists.
Which one are you talking about? Aerogel?
Veritasium has a video on it. So here's my point.
Yeah, there it is.
What about rods from God? Do you know about that?
Yes, that's
yeah.
right.
That was thorium? Or
But
no,
the amount of
tungsten rods?
is it or is
joke.
it palladium? But the amount of energy required to get that into space just is you're storing the energy and then you have to maintain it.
Wait,
with
what are these
thrusters.
rods from gods?
It's
What are
like-
It's a theoretical weapon where we launch a tungsten rod into space and then keep it in orbit, and when you release it, it's 10 times more power, 100 times more powerful than a nuclear bomb. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.